Imagine waking up every morning knowing there is a pair of silent, tireless powerhouses inside your body, quietly filtering through 50 gallons of blood every single day. That is roughly the volume of a standard bathtub, processed continuously through millions of microscopic pathways without you ever having to press a single button. Our kidneys work around the clock to sweep away metabolic waste, manage your body's delicate fluid levels, balance vital electrolytes, regulate your blood pressure, and even signal your bone marrow to produce fresh red blood cells. Yet, despite performing this monumental daily workload, these two bean-shaped organs rarely get the credit they deserve. In fact, most people never spend a single moment thinking about their kidney health until a routine blood test comes back with alarming numbers, or a doctor suddenly brings up words like renal function, filtration rates, or chronic disease. If you are over the age of 60, protecting these vital organs is no longer just a good idea. It is an absolute necessity. As the body ages, kidney function naturally undergoes gradual changes. When you combine natural biological aging with common midlife and late life health challenges, such as fluctuating blood pressure, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, chronic mild dehydration, or years of taking over-the-counter pain medications, your kidneys end up bearing a massive burden. What makes kidney damage particularly subtle and dangerous is its absolute silence. In its early stages, renal decline almost never triggers sharp pain, obvious warning signs, or dramatic physical symptoms. It slips in undetected, quietly eroding your body's capacity to process toxins, while you go about your daily life feeling entirely fine. By the time noticeable symptoms like ankle swelling, metallic tastes, or persistent fatigue finally surface, a significant portion of kidney tissue may have already been compromised. Because of this silent progression, it is completely understandable why so many people rush to the internet looking for quick fixes, protective shortcuts, and natural cures. If you scroll through social media or watch health videos online, you will inevitably run into flashy claims promising that a specific green juice, a miraculous herbal tea blend, or a 3-day liquid detox can magically flush decades of toxins from your body, melt away kidney stones overnight, or fully regenerate damaged kidney tissue. These promises sound incredibly comforting, especially when you're trying to take proactive control of your long-term health. However, when we look at medical science, clinical research, and human physiology, the reality is far more straightforward and ultimately much more empowering. Here is the absolute truth that every senior needs to know. Your kidneys do not require fancy detox powders, expensive exotic supplements, or extreme liquid cleanses to function properly. They are already, by design, the most advanced self-sustaining filtration plant on Earth. They do not store up physical sludge that needs to be scrubbed out by a trendy potion. What your kidneys do need is a daily environment that supports their natural work, rather than forcing them to work under extreme stress. While no magic potion exists to instantly repair or reset your renal system, making smart, deliberate choices about the fluids you drink every day can make a world of difference. Proper hydration helps preserve healthy filtration rates, prevents structural damage caused by severe fluid drop-offs, and significantly lowers the risk of agonizing kidney stone formation over time. To truly safeguard your renal system for the decades ahead, you need to understand how common everyday beverages interact with your internal machinery, which ones offer genuine support, which ones require careful caution, and which daily habits are secretly draining your kidney health behind the scenes. If you've had your gallbladder removed, or your doctor is telling you that you need it out right now, there's something almost nobody is explaining to you before you sign that consent form. Removing this organ doesn't end the story. For a huge number of people, it's actually where a whole new set of problems quietly begins. Digestive issues that show up years later. Vitamin deficiency, as nobody connects to the surgery. Shoulder pain that sends people to a chiropractor instead of back to their GI doctor. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why that happens, what your body is missing without this organ, and the practical steps people use to feel normal again. So stay with me, because the most useful part, the part almost no surgeon has time to walk you through, is coming up. Let's start with the numbers, because they're bigger than most people realize. Somewhere around 700,000 people in the United States alone have their gallbladder taken out every single year. That makes it one of the most common surgeries performed in this country. And in the vast majority of those cases, patients are told the same reassuring line. You don't really need it. It's not going to cause problems. Life goes on exactly as before. What almost nobody hears is the other side of that conversation, the informed part of informed consent. Nobody sits down and explains what your body actually loses when this organ is gone, or what you can do to compensate for it. That gap in the conversation is exactly what we're going to close today. So let's back up and talk about what the gallbladder is actually doing in there, because most people genuinely don't know. It's a small pouch tucked underneath your liver, and its entire job is to store and concentrate bile. Bile itself isn't made in the gallbladder. That's a common mix-up. Bile is manufactured by the liver, and it travels down a small duct into the gallbladder, where it gets concentrated and held in reserve. Then, the moment you eat something with fat in it, the gallbladder squeezes and releases that concentrated bile into your small intestine, where it goes to work breaking fats apart so your body can actually absorb them. And that's the part people underestimate. How much depends on that one squeeze? Without adequate bile hitting your gut at the right moment, fat doesn't just pass through undigested. You lose access to fatty acids, cholesterol your body actually needs in the right amounts. And this is the big one, the fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K. You also lose out on omega-3 fats, which do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to calming inflammation in the body. And here's something that surprises people. A lot of the protective plant compounds in your vegetables, things like curcumin from turmeric or the carotenoids in carrots and leafy greens, are fat-soluble too, which means if your bile isn't flowing properly, you could be eating a beautifully balanced vegetable-packed diet and still not be absorbing the benefits, simply because the fat solubility puzzle piece is missing. But bile isn't just a fat digestion tool. It's doing several other jobs behind the scenes that rarely get mentioned. It's one of your body's main pathways for clearing out toxins, excess hormones like estrogen, and even things like pesticide residue. It's also your primary route for getting rid of surplus cholesterol. Bile literally carries it out of the body. On top of that, bile has antimicrobial properties. It helps keep the microbial population in your small intestine in check. When that balance tips the wrong way, you can end up with a condition called SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, where bacteria that should be living further down in your colon creep upstream into the small intestine and start fermenting your food before you've had a chance to absorb it. The result? Bloating, gas, and discomfort that a lot of people just live with for years, never realizing bile is part of the picture. Let us start by stripping away the marketing hype and examining the absolute king of renal support. It is not an exotic root found in a distant rainforest. It costs practically nothing, and it is readily available right from your kitchen tap, plain, clean water. It might sound overly simplistic, but water is the fundamental foundation of all kidney function. To understand why simple water is so powerful, picture your kidneys as a complex citywide water treatment facility. To move waste materials through microscopic pipes and out of the facility, you need a steady, adequate volume of water flowing through the system at all times. When your fluid intake drops, your blood becomes more concentrated. Your kidneys are forced to exert significantly more cellular energy to squeeze toxins out of a thicker, denser bloodstream. When you are chronically underhydrated, your urine becomes highly concentrated, dark in color, and densely packed with minerals like calcium, oxalate, and uric acid. When these dissolved minerals sit around in high concentration inside the kidney's delicate collection chambers, they begin to bond together, forming microscopic crystals. Over months and years, these tiny crystals act like snowballs, grabbing onto more mineral deposits until they transform into solid, sharp kidney stones. Staying consistently hydrated keeps these minerals diluted and constantly moving, effectively washing them out of your system long before they ever get the chance to crystallize into painful stones. However, recognizing the importance of water often leads people straight into another widely believed health myth, the idea that if a little water is good, massive amounts must be even better. You have likely heard people claim that drinking gallon upon gallon of water every single day will hyperflush your organs, sweep away all cellular waste, and force your kidneys to operate at superhuman efficiency. Medical science tells a very different story. Your kidneys work continuously on a complex system of pressure gradients and hormone signals. Drinking excessive, unnecessary amounts of fluid does not enhance their ability to remove metabolic waste. In fact, forcing your body to process extreme volumes of water can backfire, particularly in older adults. When you flood your system with far more water than your body actually requires, you can dilute the essential sodium levels in your bloodstream, leading to a dangerous medical condition known as hyponatremia. This imbalance can cause confusion, severe muscle weakness, brain swelling, and unnecessary stress on your cardiovascular and renal systems. The goal for long-term health is never extreme, aggressive hyperhydration. It is consistent, adequate, and comfortable balance. So how do you know if you are striking the right balance? One of the most practical, real-time indicators you have is paying attention to the color of your urine. For most healthy adults, a pale, straw-like yellow color indicates that your body is operating in a well-hydrated sweet spot. If your urine consistently looks dark yellow or amber, your body is signaling that its fluid levels are running low and your kidneys are working harder to conserve water. Conversely, if your urine is completely clear like tap water all day long, you may be pushing your fluid intake beyond what your body actively needs. It is worth noting, however, that urine color is not a completely foolproof gauge for everyone. Certain daily multivitamin supplements, high-dose B-complex vitamins, and specific prescription medications can turn urine bright neon yellow or orange, regardless of how much water you drink. Furthermore, fluid recommendations cannot follow a one-size-fits-all formula, especially as we age. While a healthy 65-year-old active adult benefits from consistent water intake throughout the day, someone managing late-stage chronic kidney disease, congestive heart failure, or advanced liver cirrhosis operates under entirely different physiological rules. In those specific medical conditions, damaged kidneys or a weakened heart cannot process standard fluid loads efficiently. Extra fluid builds up in the lungs, legs, and abdomen, creating life-threatening pressure on the circulatory system. If you have been formally diagnosed with severe heart or kidney conditions, you must always follow the precise daily fluid limits set by your physician or renal specialist, rather than trying to match standard hydration guidelines. For the majority of adults looking to protect their health, the best routine is simple and intuitive. Rather than trying to chug massive bottles of water all at once, keep a glass or reusable bottle nearby and take small, consistent sips throughout the entire day. Pay extra attention to your fluid intake when you are spending time outdoors in hot weather, engaging in physical activity, or recovering from an illness that causes sweating or stomach upset. Do not wait until your mouth feels bone dry to reach for a drink. As we get older, the internal brain signals that trigger the sensation of thirst naturally become less sharp and slightly delayed. By the time an older adult feels intensely thirsty, their body is often already experiencing a mild degree of fluid depletio N. Building a light, regular sipping habit ensures your kidneys receive a steady supply of moisture without sudden spikes or prolonged drops. While plain water forms the irreplaceable foundation of renal wellness, there are other natural, carefully selected beverages that offer specific protective benefits when integrated correctly into a balanced diet. The second drink worth exploring is unsweetened cranberry juice. Cranberries have enjoyed a stellar reputation in popular health culture for decades, often praised as a miracle cure capable of cleansing the entire urinary tract and wiping out organ damage. To appreciate what cranberry juice can actually do, we need to separate popular mythology from clinical reality. Cranberries do not contain magical compounds that repair structural tissue in the kidneys, nor do they act as an internal chemical mop for metabolic toxins. Where cranberries do excel is in their unique ability to support the lower urinary tract, particularly in individuals who suffer from frequent, recurrent urinary tract infections, or UTIs. As both men and women age, changes in anatomy, immune function, and tissue elasticity make the urinary system more vulnerable to bacterial invasion. When harmful bacteria, most commonly Escherichia coli, enter the urinary tract, they attempt to attach themselves securely to the delicate tissue lining the bladder and ureters. Once attached, these bacteria multiply, causing localized inflammation, burning sensations, frequent urination, and discomfort. If a urinary tract infection goes unnoticed or untreated, the bacteria can migrate upward into the kidneys, resulting in a serious, painful infection known as pyelonephritis, which can cause severe renal scarring and acute organ distress. This is precisely where cranberries offer their scientific superpower. Cranberries contain a distinct group of natural plant compounds called A-type proanthocyanidins. These unique phytonutrients act as a biological lubricant along the walls of the urinary tract. They alter the microscopic surface structure of bacteria, making it exceptionally difficult for unwanted organisms to stick to the bladder lining. Instead of anchoring themselves and multiplying, the bacteria are washed away naturally when you urinate. By helping lower the risk of recurrent urinary tract infections, high-quality cranberry juice indirectly protects the upper kidneys from dangerous ascending bacterial infections. However, enjoying these protective benefits requires making crucial distinctions about what kind of cranberry beverage you are drinking. If you walk down the beverage aisle at a standard grocery store, the vast majority of bottles labeled cranberry are actually cranberry juice cocktails. These products are heavily diluted with water and loaded with massive amounts of high fructose corn syrup or added refined sugars to mask the natural, intensely tart flavor of the berry. Drinking sugary cranberry cocktails completely destroys any health benefit you're trying to achieve. Ingesting high concentrations of refined sugar spikes your blood glucose levels, promotes systemic inflammation, contributes to weight gain, and increases your risk of developing type 2 diabetes, the single leading cause of kidney failure worldwide. To get genuine support, you must look for 100% pure, unsweetened cranberry juice. Because pure cranberry juice is extremely tarty and potent, you do not need to drink large quantities. Splashing an ounce or two of pure, unsweetened juice into a glass of cold water or sparkling water creates a refreshing, low-calorie, low-sugar beverage that delivers beneficial plant compounds without overloading your bloodstream with refined sugars. It is equally vital to understand the clear safety boundaries associated with cranberry juice. First, cranberry juice is a preventive support measure, not a treatment for an active medical infection. If you develop a fever, back pain, severe burning during urination, or cloudy, foul-smelling urine, cranberry juice will not cure the problem. An active urinary infection requires prompt medical evaluation and targeted antibiotic treatment from a healthcare provider. Second, cranberry juice contains moderate amounts of natural compounds called oxalates. If you have a personal medical history of calcium oxalate kidney stones, drinking concentrated cranberry juice regularly may actually elevate your risk of forming new stones. Finally, concentrated cranberry compounds can interact with certain prescription medications, most notably the blood-thinning G drug warfarin, potentially altering how quickly your blood clots. If you take blood thinners or have a history of kidney stones, always check with your doctor before adding daily cranberry juice to your routine. Our third kidney supportive beverage brings us back to simple daily hydration, elevated by a powerful natural citrus twist, fresh lemon water. For many people, the biggest barrier to staying well hydrated is simply that plain water can feel boring or unappetizing over time. Adding a fresh squeeze of lemon juice, introduces a crisp, vibrant flavor that makes drinking water far more enjoyable, encouraging people to reach their daily fluid targets effortlessly. But lemon water offers physiological benefits that extend far beyond simple flavor enhancement. Lemons are exceptionally rich in a natural organic compound called citric acid, which exists in your body's fluid dynamics as citrate. Citrate plays a remarkably effective structural role in preventing certain types of kidney stones, particularly the highly common calcium oxalate and calcium phosphate varieties. When your kidneys process fluid, calcium and oxalate naturally filter into your urine. If fluid levels drop, these mineral particles drift closer together, eventually binding to form sharp, solid crystals that grow into kidney stones. When you introduce higher levels of citrate into your urine, the citrate molecules actively attach themselves to the free-floating calcium particles in your kidney's filtering chambers. By binding to calcium, citrate effectively blocks the calcium from linking up with oxalates. It acts like a chemical shield, keeping the mineral particles dissolved in liquid form so they can pass safely out of your body without ever crystallizing into hard stones. Furthermore, higher levels of urinary citrate can help coat existing microscopic crystals, preventing them from catching onto other particles and growing larger. Because of this well-documented physiological process, urologists and healthcare providers frequently recommend increasing natural citrate intake as a cornerstone of long-term kidney stone prevention plans. Squeezing the juice of half a fresh lemon into a warm or cold glass of water every morning provides your system with an accessible, natural source of protective citrate while instantly kickstarting your daily hydration. Just like our previous choices, it is important to keep a realistic perspective on what lemon water can and cannot accomplish. Squeezing a lemon into your water will not magically lower elevated serum creatinine levels overnight, reverse years of structural kidney scarring, or flush heavy metals out of your tissues. Its practical power lies in its ability to optimize the chemical environment within your urine to suppress crystal formation while keeping you consistently hydrated. Understanding which beverages offer gentle, protective support is only half of the health equation. To truly protect your renal system as you age, you must also shine a light on the subtle, everyday habits that quietly inflict damage on your kidneys without you ever realizing it. Many people spend endless time and money searching for ideal health supplements while completely overlooking common daily routines that put massive ongoing stress on their filtering organs.